Hi, I'm James McGuire, Managing Editor of Datamation, and I'm here with Dan Welch, SVP, Senior Vice President for Global Services at ThreatMetrix. Dan, how are you doing today?
Very well, thank you.
Good. So I know you spend a lot of time out in the field, correct?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. A lot of traveling, a lot of miles, I would assume, yeah.
Yep, Singapore to London to Australia.
Excellent. So what do you see out in the field in terms of what's trending these days? What are companies really talking about in the sector?
Well, they're talking about preventing fraud and establishing, establishing digital identities so that they can identify who's opening accounts or who's actually engaging with them on the web.
Right. And tell me, when you're out there, what is your real job? What does someone who's in charge of global services really do?
Well, we handle the initial implementation of our service for our customer. We also do technical support after the fact, teach training classes, and then probably most importantly, to keep the system operating properly and effectively, we do ongoing health checks with our customers.
In other words, how the software is working, how effective the software is.
Yes, is it capturing enough fraud? Is it capturing too much fraud?
Right. Is there such a thing as capturing too much fraud?
Yeah, it's really a balance. It's an equilibrium between having a frictionless customer experience while capturing, the worst fraud.
Right. So what do you see, when you talk to the clients, what are some of the pain points out there? What keeps people up at night? What really worries them about their systems?
Well, data breach is certainly something that's top of mind. And then, as I said, just establishing through use of services like ThreatMetrix that you're dealing with the actual customer and not somebody who is opening 50 accounts a day.
Right, in 5 different continents.
Yeah.
Which might be a red flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in other words, if this device, this person who has never logged into the bank more than once, suddenly starts doing 5 transactions in 5 different continents, it's probably
could be a problem.
Indication. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think also part of what you do, correct me if I'm wrong, is you're getting feedback from the customers and getting it back into the system. Is this true?
Yes. And I actually have a global staff and many of which who have spent their entire life in the fraud prevention area,
right?
Collecting this information. And some of them even transferred over into the product management group. So we have a free flow of information between the people that actually are talking to the customer on a daily basis and the people that are designing the next generation of our software.
Right. So if your job is to go out in the field and maximize happiness or effectiveness, what are some of the things you might do out there to actually make the customers a little more happy?
Well, first, we always try to play music that has an upbeat tone.
I love the timing of that music. It lends sort of a happy air to what we're talking about. Yeah. So, this is the nightclub part of our interview?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, this is unbelievable.
Okay.
So, what do I do to
and say they might be struggling or not, but if you're out there maximizing their effectiveness or their happiness, what sort of things do you do?
Well, mainly keep them aware of the new developments at ThreatMetrix and keep, since the criminal element, the fraudsters are continually innovating what they do, making sure that customers continually engage with us so that we can keep them, operating at peak efficiency.
Right. I mean, part of it, I know the software can be tuned, right? ThreatMetrix can be a little tuned, like policies can be written.
Right. So you'll have a use case or a way that people go about perpetrating fraud. It could be something as simple as changing the ship to address after an order is completed.
Right.
And so maybe that's a method by which people try to perpetrate fraud.
Right.
And so the customers can write policies that say, when these conditions are true, let's step up the authentication or perhaps block the transaction.
Right. And there is a certain amount of implementation time, right? The software may be tuned over time. Am I correct in thinking that?
Yeah. Well, there's generally 2 ways in which we tune the software.
Right.
Initially, we'll turn the software on and turn the policies that were written on and look at the initial data and make initial adjustments to the software to make sure it's operating appropriately.
Right.
But for some customers, we come back as often as quarterly to continually tune the policies, or maybe write new policies for new types of fraud that are being perpetrated.
So it's not like, here's the software, have a good time, see you later.
Yeah.
You're actually going out there, you're dealing with them with the software.
Yep.
Okay.
Because it's an evolving problem.
Right.
A continuing threat, you might say.
So, looking ahead, so any trends you might see developing in the next few years? Like, what do you see on the horizon, in the near horizon?
One of the things that I see customers expressing an interest in is interacting with each other, and we're going to be adding features to enable this. But regionally, saying, if 4 of my competitors suspect this digital identity as being a fraudster, maybe I should as well.
They'll work together.
And they're going to work together to exchange this information, and we're going to provide the facility for them to share those tags or those factors of information that they can use to match the digital identities.
Dan, that's a lot of good stuff. Thank you for talking with us, and thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Yep.
All right.